People of YouTube, it is I, everyone's favorite YouTuber, Emperor Lemon, coming at you with another unscripted commentary. And today we're going to talk about a bit of YouTube news. Now, this isn't any breaking YouTuber films dead body in Japan news. Not like that, no. This news is about something that's slowly but surely been happening over the past 6 months.
Oh shit!
Everyone who makes YouTube videos knows who PewDiePie is. He's at the top. He's the #1 YouTuber. I mean, once he took over the position from Smosh back in 2013, no one even got close to him for 5 years. He was quite truly completely uncontested. And PewDiePie has kept that position as the #1 uncontested YouTuber for so long that many of us have just grown to accept it as fact. When you ask anyone who the #1 YouTuber is, it's gotta be PewDiePie. And of course, I'm bringing all of this up because it appears that PewDiePie's reign as the #1 YouTuber may actually finally be ending. But like I said, he's been at the top for so long that it almost doesn't even feel real that a channel's actually getting up there and challenging him. And the channel I'm talking about is a channel by the name of T-Series, which is basically just Indian Vevo. If you just imagine the most popular American pop stars all merging into one channel that comes out with their music videos, that's basically what T-Series is for India. And T-Series is rapidly gaining on PewDiePie. Like, their current growth rates aren't even close. T-Series is projected to pass PewDiePie in just a few months, if not less. And nothing's really going to stop them. So for the first time in 5 years, this looks like it's going to be the end of PewDiePie's reign. I mean, at first it was difficult for me to even imagine a version of YouTube where PewDiePie is not #1. I guess PewDiePie's just been at the top for so long that we've all gotten so used to him in that position. But then the more I thought about it, I began to realize that PewDiePie getting surpassed by T-Series is a really fitting situation for the current state of YouTube. Because the era of YouTube that PewDiePie represents simply does not exist anymore. The fact that he has even managed to stay on top for as long as he has is somewhat of a miracle. So with that being said, I just really wanted to take this time to reflect on the extent that YouTube has changed since PewDiePie has been the #1 YouTuber. Well, the most obvious thing that comes to mind is that YouTube has practically gone corporate. And that's not just YouTube itself, who, to an extent, has always kind of been making business deals behind the scenes. I'm talking about the YouTubers. There are so many big channels with tens of millions of subscribers nowadays whose only purpose is to pander to 9-year-olds. Nowadays it's all about trying to game the system to get as much revenue and as much watch time and as many views as you possibly can, regardless of the actual impression you make on your audience. Right now it seems like the big business decision is just getting someone to put their eyes on your video regardless of whether or not they enjoy it. You see all these toy channels, all these obnoxious vloggers like the Paul brothers. It just seems like there's so many more of these guys now than there were back in 2013 when PewDiePie took over. Right now it's not about being liked and respected, it's more how many kids can you get to click on your video and watch it like a zombie. It's just that the business end of YouTube has so greatly expanded. And moving forward, it seems like the #1 priority for people starting their YouTube channels nowadays is about making money, branding and marketing themselves and their own merchandise, and far less about being liked and respected and making genuinely substantive videos. So that's basically the biggest glaring change that I can see has come across YouTube during the PewDiePie era. And looking at PewDiePie's channel today versus how it started out when he was first getting popular, it brings up another very interesting change on YouTube, and that's how practically the entire Let's Play genre was born and then died with PewDiePie. I genuinely do not think that if you took a channel like PewDiePie and started uploading the exact same type of content that he did when he was working his way up the ranks, I genuinely don't think a channel with exactly the same videos today would get even 100,000 subscribers. When PewDiePie was uploading 10-minute Let's Plays, he really capitalized on an algorithm change that heavily favored that type of content. And it's hard to think about it now, but back when PewDiePie was starting, a Let's Play was still a pretty fresh thing on YouTube. It really wasn't done to such a wide extent until PewDiePie started getting popular, and then everybody realized that, hey, I could just play a video game and talk over it and get 1 million subscribers. It's that simple. So it's interesting to think about how the whole Let's Play market got incredibly saturated, and the whole wave of popularity that PewDiePie rode is basically completely unreplicable. It will never happen again where someone just plays some video games, talks over it in a face cam, and gets popular on YouTube. So I guess in summary, I'd say that Let's Plays kind of died on YouTube when the market got completely saturated, and that's in addition to much of that same audience who originally watched Let's Plays on YouTube moving over to watch guys on Twitch and live streaming. Because if you think about it, it's fundamentally the same type of content. You're watching a guy play a video game and commentate over it. But in a live stream, as opposed to a YouTube video, you get to interact with the person in real time, so it's immediately more appealing. So I just find it really interesting how PewDiePie just became so unbelievably popular on a genre of video that realistically no channel today could get popular off of. I'd also like to point out that even beyond the genre of video that PewDiePie was making when he was getting popular, you could not even replicate the methods he was using in those videos. Most importantly, we now live in a post-cursing age on YouTube. A lot of people like to maintain this conception that PewDiePie got so much edgier as the years went on, but looking back at his videos, I'm not exactly sure that's true. I would argue that as he was getting popular, many of his videos were very edgy, in both the content of his language and the video games he played. Now granted, it's possible for your videos to be edgy, but not mature, which is how I would likely categorize PewDiePie's early work, and also how I feel that he attracted such a large audience of young teens and children. And as much as I would disagree with the principles behind YouTube restricting profanity on the website, I actually do think it's led to some somewhat positive consequences. For one, in order to get popular these days, you have to be a lot more tactful than saying the word ass 700 times in a video. YouTubers and general gaming channels have had to greatly improve their writing and rely a lot less on gimmicks and cursing in order to rise up the ranks. I've actually observed a lot of gaming content on YouTube sort of returning to how it was before PewDiePie got popular, back when guys like JonTron were the most popular gaming channels, where they would actually put a lot of writing and visual design into their content and wouldn't upload 30-minute chunks of gameplay every day. Recently, you've seen a big revival of that style of content. To me, it's always been very interesting to see just how YouTubers adapt to major changes on the website and what type of content inevitably gets favored in whatever the current state of YouTube is. One other thing I want to talk about is how the position PewDiePie is in as the most subscribed YouTuber. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it used to feel so much more prestigious. I mean, back in 2011, 2012, being the #1 YouTuber on the site used to seem really important, and it's odd how the quantity of subscribers that he has gone up so much, but it just feels like the prestige of having subscribers doesn't really matter all that much anymore. I mean, if you think about it, what's even the point of subscribing to anyone on YouTube anymore? I think back when PewDiePie took over in 2013, the sub box was still functional back then. I don't know, sometime between then and now, YouTube broke it to where it doesn't really work all that well. Gosh, subscribers used to matter so much more back then. And now it's kind of just a formality. It almost feels like being the most subscribed YouTuber doesn't really matter that much anymore because subscribers don't matter. Pretty much 90 to 95% of the views you get on YouTube are from the algorithm, how much your video is promoted to someone's homepage, how much your video shows up on the sidebar, how much your video gets auto-played from other videos. You also see so many channels out there with millions and millions of subscribers, and they can't even break 50,000 views on a video. It seems at this point that the subscriber count on YouTube is just a formality. It's just a little score for you to hang your hat on and jack off your ego a little bit. But functionally, it's basically worthless. So that's another thing I think has definitely changed on YouTube, where back when PewDiePie took over, the concept of having a lot of subscribers was so much more meaningful. But I think ironically, one of the biggest things that's changed during PewDiePie's reign at the top of YouTube is PewDiePie. A lot of people don't remember this, but when PewDiePie was first starting to get popular, he was hated. For about a year, he was probably the most hated YouTuber on the platform. He was like the Justin Bieber of YouTube. He was hated for many of the reasons that people hate the Paul brothers today. His videos seemed gimmicky and obnoxious. He had an army of annoying fanboy children, and it's really odd to think about that now, knowing the direction that PewDiePie's channel eventually turned. At this point, you have to really look back and admire the balls that PewDiePie must have had to basically turn a 180 on being a kid-friendly, brand-friendly, family-friendly YouTuber to basically becoming a renegade. I mean, PewDiePie used to be YouTube's golden boy. He was the golden goose of the website, the face of everything. Any official big-ticket thing you'd see with YouTube, PewDiePie's face would always be on it. And he gave up all of that just to simply allow himself to make videos that he enjoyed making. And it's simply amazing how he turned his channel around like that, and he's now one of the most respected, widely beloved people in this community, where you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone these days who really still dislikes PewDiePie. And I always found it so interesting that PewDiePie found himself in such a unique position where it seems like at his highest point, he was bigger than YouTube itself. And to an extent, he still is. I mean, everyone knows who PewDiePie is. And even after he went rogue, and even after YouTube basically disowned him and cut him off from all of their branding and stopped recommending his videos to everyone on the website, he was still largely able to coast off of his own name and his own popularity for so long, and he's still kind of doing it today. But with that being said, he'll probably never be as popular as he once was, simply because YouTube wants nothing to do with him these days, and they're never ever going to promote him again. And for me, that's kind of the saddest thing about PewDiePie relinquishing his #1 spot on YouTube. It's because I don't see another guy like PewDiePie being the #1 YouTuber ever again. And it's going to be one of those things where people don't realize what they have until it's gone. But for so long, PewDiePie was just kind of the perfect guy to have as the #1 YouTuber, in my opinion. And that is due to the simple fact that he's just a regular dude who got popular all by himself on YouTube. Nobody knew who PewDiePie was before YouTube. He wasn't a celebrity, he wasn't a pop star, he wasn't a global brand that everyone knows. 10 years ago, PewDiePie was just a regular guy like you and me, and he became the most popular individual on this entire website. And that's something that's so special and inspirational, and I don't think it can ever be replicated. There will never be another channel like PewDiePie who becomes #1 on YouTube. I just don't see it happening. From now on, it's only going to be channels like T-Series, brands, corporations, and that's not to generate any hate for channels like that. I mean, they're businesses. They're there to make money. I can't fault them for seizing an opportunity that's there on a golden platter. 400 million internet users in India and rising. They're simply fulfilling a market demand, and there's nothing really wrong with that. But at the same time, I'm just gonna miss the magical sort of feeling that PewDiePie, who's just a dude playing video games, managed to stay on top of the site for so long. He managed to continuously have more subscribers than legit pop stars like Justin Bieber and Katy Perry. He continuously managed to stay above the obnoxious, fake, asshole Hollywood vloggers. He managed to be more popular than them without having to stoop to acting like an asshole. He managed to break free from having to pander to 9-year-olds. He actually got to be popular and respected and beloved just by being himself. If you really think about it, would you really want anyone else representing YouTube? I can't really say that I'd prefer any of the other top 100 channels. I guess technically even when he does get passed by T-Series, he would still be the #1 subscribed individual on YouTube. But it's just not the same. The fun of watching just this one dude beat out legit corporations and media conglomerates and pop stars and celebrities, it just won't mean as much with him as the number 2 YouTuber. But at the same time, I couldn't really imagine it working out any differently, because the era of YouTube that PewDiePie represents no longer exists. And I think it's finally time for all of us to move on.
It's just how it is, I guess. So thank you. It means a lot. It really does. And stay awesome. I'll see you in the next video. Brofist.
A 3rd and 5 to the Undertaker! Brock Lesnar into the cover, hooks the leg, the streak is over.
Everywhere you go on this website, someone's trying to sell you something. No company would dare run a product placement on this channel. It's time to have a look at today's edition of Downward Spiral Spotlight, brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Today's featured downward spiral is Jupiter's Great Red Spot. You know, a lot of people ask me just how I get such a great looking downward spiral. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to reveal that the secret ingredient to my downward spiral's great taste and smooth finish is selling myself out to corporate endorsements. Dollar Shave Club is the Downward Spiral Club. Are you a filthy degenerate who bathes less than once a week? Well, Dollar Shave Club will make you so clean that you'll never have to bathe again. I shaved my neck beard and it came back stronger than ever. Thanks, DSC. But if you think that Dollar Shave Club is only good for selling razors, well then, you're just an idiot. But to be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand that Dollar Shave Club also sells toothpaste, shave butter, body wash, butt wipes. That's right, butt wipes. No other hygiene-based service is dedicated enough to bring the downward spiral directly to your anus. And you can unlock this butt crack cleansing power for not $7, not $6, not $4, but $5 for the Daily Essentials Starter Set. Just look at all this stuff you get, and they deliver it right to your door so you never have to leave your house and get a real job. So join the downward spiral today at dollarshaveclub.com/emplemon.